There wasn't one single moment where I decided to cheat. It was small things I was feeling off, burned out, like nothing in my life was mine. My job was draining, my marriage started to feel routine, and I had this constant low-level depression I couldn't shake. The first time it wasn't physical. I met this guy through a local volunteer thing. He was easy to talk to and funny. I didn't even realize how much I was talking to him until I found myself checking my phone first thing in the morning to see if he messaged. Then we started DMing on Instagram, then texting. He'd send these flirty little comments that made me feel like I was interesting again. I started putting more effort into my appearance just to take selfies I could accidentally send. It turned into sexting one night when I was drinking and bored. After that, it got intense. We talked about what we'd do if we met up, how he'd make me do things I hadn't tried since college days. There were 2 separate times where I almost sent him nudes, but I chickened out. I'd take the photo and just stare at it for a few minutes before deleting it. My husband started noticing something was off. I'd laugh at my phone too much. I'd angle the screen away from him. He asked a few times who I was talking to, and I gave vague answers like, just someone from the group, or stop being paranoid. One night he grabbed my phone when I left it on the counter, and I saw him scrolling through my messages with this look on his face. I had already deleted most of them, but a few were still there. I told him we were just venting about life stuff. He didn't push too hard after that, but I could tell he was distracted. That was the first warning bell I missed. I blocked the guy the next day and never messaged him again. The second time, it was this woman I met in an online group for women dealing with burnout and depression. She lived overseas. We started off just talking about mental health stuff, then shared stories about our relationships. At first, it was like having a pen pal. She'd compliment me all the time. She told me I had a beautiful voice, that she loved how I expressed myself. It got flirty without me even realizing it. Then one night we had this really long conversation where we were both in bed, and it just shifted. She said she'd never been with a woman before, but always wondered. I said the same. It turned into us describing what we do to each other. The clothes came off. It was the most intense sexual experience of my whole life, but I told myself it didn't count because it was just virtual, that it was just fantasy. We kept that going for about 3 months. She started talking about saving up to come visit. That's when I got freaked out. I didn't want that to happen. I blocked her without saying anything. I never told my husband. The third time, now that was physical. My cousin introduced me to this guy she works with. She made a joke at first, like, he's single and cute, you should flirt a little. I thought she was kidding. Then I saw how she was setting it up, inviting me to group hangouts where he'd be, talking me up when he was around. I should have shut it down. I didn't. I knew she was just trying to be supportive because I had been venting to her. We started texting after the third time we hung out. By the third meetup, we were kissing in his car. The first time we slept together, I had told my husband I was out with my cousin. She had agreed to cover up for me. I met the guy at a hotel near his job. It became a routine. I'd tell my husband I was working late or going to see my cousin. Sometimes I'd change clothes in my car before I came home. I deleted everything. Messages, call logs. I even created a second Instagram to talk to him. We met 6 or 7 times total. Every time I told myself it was the last, but every time I also felt like I couldn't stop. My husband never confronted me directly, but I started getting the feeling he was suspicious. He started asking weirdly specific questions like, "What time did you say you left work yesterday?" Or, "What's your cousin up to these days?" He wasn't asking in a crazy way, just enough to let me know he was thinking. That was the second warning bell I missed. Then 2 days ago, I came home, and there was this photo album on the living room table. At first, I thought it was one of our old albums. The first few pages were some of our wedding photos, a vacation we took to Mexico, us at a barbecue. Then the next page hit me like a wall, photos of me and the guy, outside a cafe, sitting close, me getting into his car, another one of us holding hands walking into a hotel. 3 different days, 3 different places. He had someone following me. I just sat there looking through the photos. I didn't even hear him come into the room. He said, "I hope it was worth it." That's all. Then he walked out. He hasn't answered my calls since. I've been at my cousin's. She says she didn't think it would get this bad. She keeps saying I need to give him space, but I don't think space is going to fix this. I know people will say I brought this on myself, that I was selfish and reckless. I was, but I wasn't trying to destroy anything. I've been struggling with low-grade depression for years. I felt invisible in my marriage. My husband never acknowledged these feelings of mine. I don't know what comes next. I don't even know what I'd say to him if he let me talk. Update. So over the weekend, we had this huge argument. It wasn't yelling or anything, just that kind of tension where every word feels sharp. I kept trying to talk to him, and he kept saying things like, "You've said enough," or "There's nothing left to say." At one point, I asked if he was ever going to forgive me, and he just said, "I think you need to stop thinking about what I owe you." After that, I left. I didn't say where I was going. I just left the house and went straight to my cousin's. I spent Friday night crying on her couch. On Saturday, I told her I needed a distraction, something to clear my head. She said, "Fine, let's go out." So we went clubbing. I drank too much. I was sick of just moping around the house. I kept thinking if he wasn't going to talk to me, then why should I sit around waiting for him? I met a guy at the bar. We danced, made out in the corner. I went back to his place. We didn't go all the way, but there was stuff. Enough that I knew I crossed another line. I felt gross the next morning. I didn't stay. I got a cab back to my cousin's and just laid there all day, trying not to think about it. Monday morning, I decided I needed to go home and fix this. I got to the house around 10 a.m. I tried the key. It didn't work. Tried again. Still nothing. I thought maybe I had the wrong one, so I pulled out my spare and tried that. Still nothing. He changed the locks. I stood there for a few minutes just not knowing what to do. I knocked. No answer. I called. Straight to voicemail. I texted him, "Can we please talk?" Nothing. Then I tried calling again from a different number. He picked up and the first thing he said was, "What do you want?" I asked him why the locks were changed. He said, "Because I don't want you here." I said I just needed to get my stuff, at least my clothes. He said, "You should have thought about that when you were off screwing someone while I was home deciding whether to file or not." I didn't even know what to say to that. I asked if we could sit down and talk, maybe with a therapist, or even just alone, just something to work through it. He said, "No. You've worked through enough people. I'm done." And then, I swear to God, I said, "Do you want me to just disappear or something?" And he said, "Go throw yourself in traffic. That would actually make this easier." He hung up. I haven't heard from him since. He has blocked both mine and cousin's numbers. I don't even think he's angry anymore. I think he just switched something off and I'm not part of his life anymore. I'm terribly sad, but I'm not sure I feel sad for the right reasons. I keep thinking about the life I just lost. The perfect husband, the security, the house, the partnership, the way he used to make coffee for me in the morning without asking. And I know that's selfish. I know I should be thinking about what I did to him, but I'm just so lost in how empty everything feels now. People say actions have consequences. I guess this is what that looks like when the other person finally stops caring. He's not yelling. He's not pleading. He's not asking questions. He's just done. I don't know how to end this post. There's no closure. I'm here at my cousin's house living out of a bag, and I have no idea what's coming next. I thought I'd feel something more, but mostly I just feel like I got exactly what I earned. And somehow I'm still sitting here thinking about how unfair it is that he doesn't even want to hear me out.